Hello, everybody. I'll let you all join in. Standing outside in, I think it's like, I don't know, 5, 10 degree temperatures. Doesn't feel too bad, but I literally just stepped out of my car. It's going to penetrate my clothing. My jacket's not that thick, but I really hate putting on extra clothes. Oh, YouTube put this weird message up right now. Hi, Lauren. Thanks for joining. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. I just updated the app, and it's not showing anybody here, even though I see a chatter. Okay, now it's showing people here. Good. I'm Angelo, by the way. Been homeless for 3 months now, about exactly 90 days. Very close to it, because I went homeless October 31st, 2018. And today, well, it just turned into February 1st, 2019. Hi, Hawking. I put up a video earlier today. Check that out later if you haven't seen it. It's my thoughts on being homeless for 3 months. And I went to a movie today. I saw Stan and Oliver, about Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy, the famous comedians from the 30s. And it stars John C. Reilly as Oliver Hardy, and now I mess up his name. What the hell? Why do I want to say Stanley Tucci? Cooper or something, right? Why am I forgetting his name now? I've been saying his name all day. Somebody look up who plays Stan Laurel in Stan and Oliver. No, Steve Coogan. That's it, not Cooper. Steve Coogan. He is awesome, amazing as Stan Laurel. The movie's good, but I was underwhelmed and a little disappointed. The performances are great. John C. Reilly is awesome. I stay at different places. I won't necessarily say where, but I stay at different places during somebody's car alarm. Oh, all right. They should hire me as security here. Yeah, I sleep around different places because I drive by different places at night. I'm like, whoa, there are cars in this parking lot. So that means if I park here, they're probably not going to notice me. But Walmart is a good place to stay in, a 24-hour Walmart, because usually it seems like nobody's going to notice. And I can tell there's other people sleeping there too. And it seems like, nobody's bothered. At least if you're in a smaller car. So anyways, in a larger, like I saw somebody in an RV getting hassled by a tow truck driver because I guess they didn't allow it at that Walmart. But yeah, so Stan and Oliver, good movie, but like part of the way in I was noticing what the problem was, and I was like, there's no antagonist in this movie. So any stakes involved, any, pressures, the desires the characters want, they're not up against an antagonist. And so it deflates some of the tension and the pressure. And Steve Coogan, I just love looking at. I don't know what it is about his like thin face and the hair sticking out as Stan Laurel, and John C. Reilly in like 4 hours of makeup as Oliver Hardy. He's really good too, and they're really good together and playing off each other. And I really like seeing stories of performers just wanting to perform and work, because it's about their career when they're on a slump in their career. They're trying to find financing for a new movie, and so they go on this tour in England, which apparently is like the only tour they could get, and they were struggling to sell tickets for their shows. And I just love seeing stories of entertainers and performers like trying to perform and just trying to do what they love doing, and get out there for an audience and let people enjoy what they're doing. So I love that aspect of it, and it was funny to see the Laurel and Hardy gags. I never really watched their movies growing up. I've watched other old movies and comedies, and I love silent films, but I never really saw much of them. But my problem is there was no antagonist, and they had a perfect... So the movie moves along well, the characters are good, everything... Okay, I'm going to get in my car. It's getting cold. Oh, that's so much nicer. I know it looks better outside, but too bad. I'm going to get the heat going. There's no antagonist. So, any, like, opportunity for them to be set back and back and forth between somebody else who opposes them and their values. It's lost. So the whole struggle of the movie is, can they keep performing when they're not getting as many fans in the audience, and Oliver Hardy is sick, and he's he drinks, smokes, and he has a heart attack. But it's not like there's not much of a struggle. Like, he has the heart attack and he decides to keep working. And it's like, well, we didn't get to see the real ride, the downsides, the argument, the splitting up. You always got to have the creative team or the couple or the whatever. In a romance, the two love interests split up at some point in the movie. Their split up was like, it felt like it lasted a day in the movie. It was well done. It was good. But it felt, and again, it was missing an antagonist. And I know it's hard to write in an antagonist, but in this movie, they had a perfect opportunity for it. Which is, I know this is not real interesting to anybody except people who are really into movies, I guess. But they had a perfect opportunity. A well-written, well-acted character. Their kind of producer and their, like, manager, their tour manager. I forget the character's name, Pimmett or something. I don't know. But he's really good as this kind of somewhat, not slimy producer, but like he's got to like put a good face on everything, no matter how bad the deal is for them. And he's got to act like, no, this is really good. This is great. You got to do it. And you really feel how, these actors who, are in front of the audience, and yet they're not the ones in control of their careers. And it's like, they could have just given that guy, even if it would have been ahistorical, given him more to do. Given him, he doesn't have to be a villain, just an antagonist. Antagonist meaning he sort of wants the same thing that the protagonists want, but he has a totally different plan for getting it. And that's where the conflict comes from. They missed out on that. But when the end came, I was like, I wasn't really disappointed. I was just like, I love the feel of it. I love seeing these guys who just want to perform and entertain and struggle to do it. But in the end, it was like they missed out on that. It felt like there was this third part of the movie. You got Laurel, you got Hardy, but the third part that was missing. Anyways, so yeah, I ate pretty well, thanks. Ate decently. I don't think I spent much of. Oh yeah, all I spent money for food today was a bottle of water at the movie theater, and they had chicken empanadas there. Cinema Arts in Fairfax. I love that theater. And I saw behind the counter they had chicken empanadas for only $3. So I was like, well, screw that. I'm not getting a sandwich. I was going to get the chicken caprese wrap. I'm like, this is going to be like $4.50 or $5.50 at least. I put that back. I said, I want the chicken empanada. And then they heated it up too. So that was nice. Other than that, I didn't eat much. Worked a ton in the gym today. Not a ton, but like, I felt like I've been underworking my arms lately. And I always try and sort of get past, like, do them a little quickly, and then focused more on chest, back, and legs. So I got up late, did all that. I slept in the freezing cold last night, which wasn't a big deal. The only thing about it, really, and I'm going to have to do tonight, is I woke up, and I was just slightly cool in my sleeping bag. And the thing about sleeping in that sleeping bag is it's so well insulated. I'm never cool in it. I'm always warm, which is good. But because of that, I was like, I'm just slightly cool. It was like 65 degrees in that thing or something. Not very cold. It's like when your, temperature of your house is just a little bit too cool. So I just put on a thermal shirt and I was good. Now everything in my car has practically been frozen. I'm lucky my shampoo didn't freeze, but I had a bag of lettuce in the trunk. That was ruined because that froze, and it's disgusting when you try and taste it so bad. I had hummus. I had to let that thaw a little bit. It wasn't frozen solid, but it was a little hard to dip bread in it. Water bottle froze a little bit, but it didn't totally freeze. It's going to be cold tonight too. Like, I think it was like, it's getting down to the teens tonight. And then it's the wind chill that's going to make it like sub-zero. But I slept fine in it. Wasn't a big deal. I want to kind of go to bed late or early. I mean, tonight too. But it's been hard to go to bed early and sleep well because I'm not used to going to bed early. So, who cares? It's not that interesting. I finally thought of jobs I'd like to get. Because I'm like, I just don't want to work anywhere. I don't want to be trapped, not being able to really, directly relate to people and work with them. And I was thinking, okay, either two things. One, stagehand jobs, which I did for a while. I actually worked as a stagehand part-time, and I volunteered. It was mostly volunteer. I only got paid for one job. I worked on a production of The Producers, the Mel Brooks show. That was cool. But I worked in backstage in theater for like a year and a half or 2 years, but most of that time was just all volunteer, helping build sets. I worked backstage on Rocky Horror Picture Show, a production of that, which was pretty easy. I was like, I'd love to work backstage again and work around actors. The problem is I work nights so damn much. Like, I got to find the job and be ready to do it, and plays and musicals, they only run certain times, so that's one thing. But the other thing is, not a lot of places hire and pay for that. It would be great to just be able to work on them, and if I had the money to just do them for fun. But I have to work. So as much as I enjoyed that, and I enjoyed being around actors and, the parties and everything, not that I was a huge party or anything, but it was just nice to be around actors and theater producers, the composers, the choreographers, all those people. But eventually I stopped doing that because I was like, I'm eager to do my videography. Back then I barely had YouTube videos up. YouTube's bugging out because it's still not showing who clicks like. So anyways, just click like. That helps get this video promoted. I don't want to stay in a shelter. That's why. I don't need to. I sleep fine in my car. It's not like brutal. Like if I was in Minnesota, holy crap, I would not risk it sleeping in my car, because I know, like, the whole car could be frozen solid like a block of ice. Then I would try and go to a shelter or wherever I could, because they were getting down to like negative 50 degrees. And in Chicago, 15 homeless people died last night. How stupid is that? That we don't think just house them. We think of all the, like, dealing with the symptoms of it, but we don't ever think just deal with the problem directly. House people. We have practically like 11 units of housing in this country. No, wait. I think it's like 6 units of housing in the country that are empty for every homeless person. Or is that in Virginia alone? One is 11, I think, and one is 6. And Lee Carter told me one, the Virginia delegate. I can't remember now. But it's so stupid. 15 people died for nothing, freezing to death. How dumb is that? We don't want to spend the money. It's not worth. Then there's no values. We don't have values if we're willing to let people die, even though we have the money, we have the resources, we have the housing. We just aren't interested in doing it because it doesn't align with certain people's beliefs, especially the pro-life crowd. So anyways, I've been looking at a bunch of theater jobs, and there are some good, like the Signature Theater around here. I just volunteered there very briefly, and so it was nice. I got to see Les Miserables for free in a black box theater, which, if you don't know, well, I'll explain in a second, but I got to see it for free when tickets were like 60 or 70 bucks. And so that was really cool. Now, black box theater, if you're not familiar, not every theater is the same. So there are like concert production shows where it's not really like they're interacting on the stage. It's like a concert and they're singing all the parts. And Les Miserables is basically all singing. There's no real talking. It's just straight musical. Black box is literally what it sounds like. It's a square stage that's like you sit all around it in the theater, but it's not a circle, it's like a box. So it's like 4 walls, and it's a small theater. It wasn't big, so it's just, like a few rows on ground level, and then up in the balcony, which was not terribly high. I mean, it was just a small room. But that was cool. And the thing is, Signature Theater, and so the stage design was interesting too when they dealt with that. The way they showed the like prisoners working, the way they showed the battles. Um, but anyways, Signature Theater has like got national attention. You know, it's been up for like Tony Awards and all kinds of recognition, and it's close by in Arlington. Cool place. But the shows are super expensive, so that's why it would be cool. And they get great actors there and everything. And you know, I'd love to be able to work around them. But anyways, that's an issue. Is just uh, and they don't always have shows that need it. I looked at their schedule now, and it's mostly one show they have running there, and I'm not sure. It's like it seems like a one-person show. I don't know. So it doesn't seem like there's a bunch of like you would need scenery changing and everything. There's a lot of others. Wolftrap is a big one right here. I looked at that. The only thing I could find there, oh man, I would kind of like it, but it's basically it's selling tickets, which I wouldn't really mind doing. I sold tickets when I worked at I volunteered at another theater around here, and I was just volunteering, so I wasn't making money. But it's a seasonal job, so it's only a few months. It's like 8 months, but it's only $10 an hour, and I'm like, I struggle enough to survive on what I make at $15 an hour. I don't want to have to try see what try and figure out what it's like to make $10 an hour. That is a scary thought. I might look into just see how many hours, because I don't know if I really like it. I mean, I don't know. But the thing is, there are other theaters, there's other productions to look for. I miss going to theaters too. I can't really go to them anymore. I almost auditioned for a play once. It was called Jeffrey. And part of the reason I didn't audition, I assumed you had to, like, they were encouraging me to, people at the show, but and it was a place I was volunteering at, but I didn't go audition because for some reason I assumed you had to memorize a monologue, and I didn't really commit the time to, and also I was a little scared about, like, I don't know if I'll be able to memorize a play and all that. I think I would have enjoyed it, I guess, but as much as I would like the idea of acting, I don't think I'd ever really want to be dedicated to it. It's just so much work. But I would love the idea of it, to control your body and, your voice and everything. But it's about, I think it was something about, like, it's a man who, yeah, he's in love with a guy, and the guy has AIDS, and so he's afraid of getting close to him because he's afraid of the disease, and I think he's afraid the guy would die on him. Yeah, they encouraged me, and they even gave me a second chance to audition when I didn't go in the first place. But I just assumed I had to memorize a monologue that I couldn't. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna look into stagehand, backstage stuff on plays. It's just not a lot of them pay, and I have fun just volunteering, but I need to make money. And the other thing I was thinking about, something like TV news. Now, I've applied for jobs like that before, like shooting and editing TV news. Um, but, and they just never get back to me, even though it seems like I'm basically qualified for them. I mean, I haven't worked in TV news before, but they're not like demanding as far as like 3D effects goes or anything. Is this even interesting to anybody? I don't even know if it's interesting. Yeah, $10. No, I'm not going to film that. Film me sleeping. Yeah, $10 an hour. That's not enough to live on. Even being homeless. Filming commercials. That's, well, yeah, maybe that's a strenuous thing. I've shot and I've made like local commercials, like just small ones for production or entertainment agency I worked for, and I did work on one kind of national commercial. I was just editing it, and it was super easy, and they paid me really well. That was awesome, and they they wanted me to do so much more work than they ultimately needed. But that's the great thing about working on a big production sort of, or with a big company, is like they may think we want all these different things, and they pay you for it, and then they realize, nope, we just made the decision, go back with the first thing, simplest thing. And in the end, I got paid like, I don't know, what, $3,000 or something. Radio, why not radio? So I looked at radio jobs too. There's barely any hiring. Radio is not hiring overall because you have podcasts. A lot of formerly popular radio show hosts now are podcasting. And a lot of shows that used to be very popular on the radio, even for a long time, are now just podcasts. A lot of radio is not hiring. A lot of radio, the hosts, like on musical stations, they record from one place and they just record a few like different spots for all over the country. There's just not a lot of places that are hiring. And I'm not qualified for the technical side, so what would I do? Just talk? Yeah, it'd be great to like somebody to entrust me to whatever, be funny or interesting or rant on the radio. But I don't know how that would work out. Those kind of shows don't seem to be on anymore. Like the Mike O'Mara show, Loveline, those are all podcasts now. And what was the other thing? So TV news. The thing is, around here, I don't know what exactly I'm qualified for. I saved a bunch of job application or job openings. There are TV news video jobs in smaller cities, or at least it seems like smaller stations that seem like they have less qualifications you need for the job, and I would have to move a little bit farther away. So I don't know if I'd necessarily mind that, but if I could work like at a TV station, say in, I don't know, in another city in a totally different part of Virginia, maybe I'd do that. I don't know if. I'm used to being around DC, so the local news is always kind of tied up into the national news. Now, I don't know, and also it's kind of a, metropolitan, kind of a lot of money around here, rich area. I don't know, like I've seen, local news in other areas, and it can feel pretty different and lower budget, which might work to my advantage. So I don't know, I'm just looking at that too, thinking about that, and just also still thinking about videos on my channel. Pick a warm state. Yeah, I do have a good sleeping bag. Oh, we got a troll. Funniest video on my channel? Well, okay, the Annandale one, that's the most popular. So apparently a lot of people thought that was funny. I'm trying to think. Because I don't think I necessarily... I think I probably have a favorite that I just can't think of right now. I've made over 1,500 videos, and a lot of them I just don't think about. There was one that's funny where I said, like, Angelo's mom wants everyone, like, Angelo's mom is going to kill someone, like, or Angelo's mom wants everyone out or she's going to kill someone. And that was funny to hear her arguing with my dad. One of the funniest moments I had too, I think it was a video where I was saying my dad shouldn't have sugar in his coffee, and my mom was yelling at me and stuff, and I think all of a sudden in the video, she finds these like old man sunglasses. You know, the kind, it's like the prescription sunglasses, they like wrap around like this. She puts them on, and it's the funniest thing, because here's what she does. I hope that video's still up, I don't know. But she puts it on, and they don't look nearly as like stylish as these. They're, those big old man ones like this. They wrap around. She just puts them on, and she does this. And I love that silent humor of just like looking around the sunglasses. Like, what's it like to wear them? Okay, another one. I'll say this one because also I put a lot of money into it. Angelo's mom's cooking tips. That may be sort of the funniest. I hired a 5 or 6 person crew to shoot, film, and do the production assistant jobs on that. I rented a studio. I fabricated the studio, I guess. Yeah, I fabricated the set. We built a kitchen set basically, and put stuff racks on the walls, spice racks and everything. I went to thrift stores and bought a bunch of like plates and everything to put in the video and in the background. And I was up for like 30 hours by the time it ended. I didn't shoot for 30 hours. I was up the previous day, up through the night, working into that night at my job. Then that morning, rushing to get everything done, get my mom there. We got to the set at 7 a.m. It took like 2 hours to finish the set. Most of it was in place, but I still needed the camera crew to help with that. They were really cool to help with that. And we only ended up shooting, like we shot, and my mom, for the first 2 hours were just my mom messing up and refusing to do anything the way I said. And so finally we got into it, and I'm like, guys, look, whatever we get by 2 o'clock, we're done. I'm not going to keep you here longer. I'm going to stick to my word. And I paid everybody on that shoot. And so very fortunate, luckily, like we got it all down to the wire, and then by the end they were all able to help take apart the set. And I think some people took stuff with them, and I even took like I found 3 small TVs on Craigslist that people left out on their lawns for free. I picked them up and brought them there so I could plug in the cameras to them and watch on monitors. And that was cool, except when I did that, then the camera operators could no longer see in their monitors, their viewfinders, what I was filming or what they were filming. So I couldn't use those TVs. And anyways, so watch those videos, because it's making fun of Tim's kitchen tips. I shot it the week before Tim's cook-off. We shot that, and it was meant to build the rivalry between my mom and Tim Heidecker. And anyways, it was just cool to do. I was really glad to do it. I'd like to do more stuff like that in a studio. Oh, we got a troll. Yeah. I wasn't looking at the comments. I didn't see him. Also, click the like button, everybody. That'll get this help get this video shared on YouTube. The comments are flickering. I can't, like, it's hard to even do anything. I want to make sure my phone's not overheating too. Oops. Sorry, I keep tapping the screen. Like, the comments keep flickering off the screen. I can't. Oh, well. So anyways, I felt good tonight to see, like, okay, there are jobs that I want. There are places I actually want to go that can just help keep me going while I'm making YouTube videos, and while I'm writing screenplays and studying Spanish. One job, by the way, oh my goodness, I saw this at Wolftrap. They have an apprenticeship for like costume, you know, like a costume maker or whatever, seamstress, whatever, I don't know, but what the term is. But, and here's the thing, you can intern there and they'll provide free housing for you. I'm like, holy crap, that's awesome. Even though it would have probably been with roommates, which I wouldn't like, but I'm like, well, if it's free, I could just sleep in my car and then just shower there, because I wouldn't want to sleep. I might want to sleep there. For some reason, I got in my head that I would be in bunk beds, because I did sleep in a place for like 8 days in this school program that had bunk beds, and I just quit after that. I'm like, screw this. I don't want to sleep in a bunk bed. I'm like 3 feet from the ceiling, and I was on the top bunk. I was like, fuck this. I don't want to do this. But also, I don't qualify for, whoa. I didn't qualify the program. You have to be a student. You have to have certain prerequisites, whatever. Whoa. This fucking phone. There we go. Yeah, and I should look at really directing jobs too. I was even looking at directing a independent movie a while ago. I'm glad I didn't take it. It wouldn't have been right for me, and it would have been an extreme financial struggle to do. Basically, all they could do was house me, and I don't blame them for that. It was hard for them to raise money, you know, on an independent film, but it just wasn't right for me. But yeah, something I'm thinking about. I don't know. Still consider is directing stuff, music videos too. There's always bands that want videos, and I've shot some small music videos before, and concert videos too, and that was cool. Yep, I got the Lee Carter endorsement. Dogs are fine. I don't know. I don't care. I mean, I don't want to own a dog ever. It's too much work. It's like, they're fine to be around. I just don't want to do any of the work. And also, I like to be alone. So, I don't need a dog around. I don't know what's the most I've angered my mom. I don't know. I mean, she seems like she's just, I don't know. When she's angry, she's angry. We got 20 people here. Cool. Again, click the like button, everybody. YouTube's glitching out, so it does not show any likes, and sometimes it does not show the amount of people here either. But that's fine. I updated the app because I couldn't even get the live stream going before. I'm like, oh, I got to check if I updated it. So I had to update it. I did, and it got running, but it's still not showing how many likes are, which it doesn't matter. Whatever. Again, just I don't care. I don't want to be more loving. You're saying a dog would make me more, and no, a dog wouldn't. I lived with a dog for 2 years, or close to 2 years, at my last house. My roommate had a dog. That dog annoyed the crap out of me. I liked the dog well enough, but that dog was not smart. She was just like constantly scared of people that she knew already. Like, so she'd be scared of me if she hadn't seen me in a little while. Always nervous and bark at the most like obnoxious stuff, like just people being around. She'd bark at the mail delivery, bark at, you know, people delivering stuff, bark when I had people over. Just really annoying. No, I do not want a dog. It would not make me more loving. It would make me sick of it. Why am I doing what? Being homeless or sleeping in the cold? I don't want to be in a shelter, for one. Homeless, it's a combination of, it's very expensive to live around here. I was paying $760 a month in rent for a room, and that was, I think, probably the only deal like that I could ever find for a room that nice. Well, a room with a private bathroom. Anywhere else you go around here, you pay $760 a month, you'll get a smaller room, and I was just lucky the landlord was nice. So you get a smaller room and you'll have a shared bathroom for an assload of money that could pay the mortgage on a house somewhere else in the country. A lot more rooms, like to have a private bathroom, you'll need to pay maybe $1,000 a month or $1,100 a month, and you still got to have roommates. And on top of that, I was going broke. I just came to view landlords as an indignity. It's like, I'm paying this person, and they have control over who lives in the house. I don't. They never check with me as far as when people are okay to move in. I had fucking obnoxious roommates. I have rules imposed on me. I feel uncomfortable having people over, or, you know, eating when I want to, or being outside my room when I want to, even though I'm paying out the ass to live here. I don't like my roommates, and none of this money I'm paying I get to keep when I leave. And so it's like, why go through the indignity of that? I'm so glad I went homeless, even though it is a big challenge. There's a lot of despair I felt. I'm glad I did it. It's never all glad. Like, it's definitely, you know, mix. I mean, I don't even like to say mix. There's definitely a lot of, you know, challenge and difficulty involved in it. Matt's cool. I don't know what he's doing. He always types like that. I just assume he's having fun. He's having a good time. So, it's good enough for me. My roommate's cats were cooler, because cats don't need anything. Like, they totally take care of themselves. So, and also they don't flip out. Well, they did flip out sometimes, but it like didn't bother me when they did. Like, you know, cats sometimes would just, all of a sudden, it's like you'd think that they thought there was a predator in the house. They just go running and flipping out, scratching the walls, and then they're totally calm. But they were cool. But again, I wouldn't want to own one. I don't want that responsibility. But I feel good that I was able to think, okay, there's some jobs I want after all. I'm not just lost with, you know, crap jobs that I would never want, underpaying people. I'd like, man, I wish if that Wolftrap job, if it paid $17 a month, say, I would definitely want it. But $10 an hour, wait, $17 a month? $17 an hour. $10 an hour is totally unacceptable. Think about what a statement that makes. I cannot afford to maintain homelessness at $10 an hour. No, I'm not working tonight. I worked last night. It was pretty slow. It was so damn cold out. Didn't have a ton of people at work. No real problems, nothing happened. But like I said in the video earlier today, I looked in the video. At the end of the night, I was walking down the bar, and I saw myself in the mirror, and it scared me because I was like, "Whoa! I don't recognize myself as this person." Oh shit! I gotta turn on the air conditioning. Phone's starting to overheat. I don't recognize myself as this person, this bouncer. I don't like doing it. I don't want to be, like, I'm not involved in this world. I'm not invested in it. The conversations I have are totally different from the ones I hear other people having there. Once I leave the job, I know I'll never think about it again. And I can't be myself there. And I'm not naturally a bouncer. You know, I don't like to have to be really strict on people when sometimes it's required. Not that I'm afraid to or anything. I try, like, I shouldn't use my discretion, basically. And sometimes, you know, you just got to do it, and you got to have a good understanding when to be stern and when to be friendly. Thanks, Lauren. Oh shit, the phone's still not cooling down because I got the case on. So the cold air from the air conditioning, I got the air conditioning running and it's like 15 degrees out. Right here. Sorry, I have to take the case off. So the protective case. Now the air conditioning can actually hit the phone. Yeah, air conditioning when it's more like probably like 15 degrees out or so right now. With the wind chill, it's getting down, but actually it's not that windy today. It was earlier, or right now, it was windy earlier today. How about that Howard Schultz, CEO of Starbucks? He's a colossal douchebag. I almost saw it today, but decided not to. I wanted to go somewhere else. If Beale Street Could Talk. So I saw Stan and Oliver, and then If Beale Street Could Talk was playing at the same theater. I was like, oh crap, I could go like another 40 minutes or so and see If Beale Street Could Talk from Barry Jenkins. I saw Moonlight. I loved Moonlight. But I was like, that's already $12 I spent on one movie, spent on another, and I didn't get any writing or anything done today, so I want to do that. I'm glad I didn't, because I wanted to look for jobs, but I will look, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll get a chance to see it tomorrow if Beale Street Could Talk. That's exactly right. Howard Schultz is scared of a new congresswoman introducing a 70% tax on income over $10 million. What the hell is wrong with him? So to him, Trump is his insurance policy. He'd rather have Trump as president. If I got to take a dump, same thing I always do. Usually I'll go to the gym and do it. I don't like to go other places because the bathrooms can be damn unreliable. Holy shit, one place, it like didn't flush well. The toilet, that's bad. When the toilet barely flushes, I was sweating like a maniac. Barely had enough toilet paper. The toilet paper was ripping up. Oh, that was bad. So bad. McDonald's can be a disaster. So I prefer the gym. It's cleanly. Not a lot of people, use the toilets there, so and also it's 24 hours, so that's usually what I do. I have a time to go during the day. There's a funny thing about the bathroom at Cinema Arts in Fairfax. All right, somebody clip this part of the video, send it to Cinema Arts. First of all, the urinals. Some of them are way too high. I've seen urinals that are too low, but these urinals are almost like at my stomach. Not only that, it's so weird how they have a lot of urinals and bathrooms in this theater, which is impressive since it's a small theater, independent theater. So picture this is the wall. You have a urinal here, a urinal here. There's a bunch of toilet stalls next to it, but think about the urinals. For some reason, two of these urinals, there's no partition between them. That's not the weird part. The weird part, the partition, let me see if I have something else I can use as the partition. Here you go. The partition is here, behind the urinals. So in other words, you stand right here. So if I'm going, I'm going to the urinal, like I'm, going to the urinal right here. The partition to block out people's view is behind me, but there's two urinals next to each other. So if you go in there, it's like going into a stall, but to piss. And there can be a guy right next to you there. The partition should be taken off the wall behind and put this way. There's my P.O. box. So, there you go. See? So now, you got a urinal over here and a urinal over here, and they're separated. You don't need a urinal behind you in case you're dropping your pants down. That makes no sense. Here's the other thing about this bathroom. And so there's two urinals there. They're of acceptable height. These other ones by the sink, they're like fucking up to here. It's ridiculous. Now here's the third thing. There's a toilet stall. I used it. It's by the urinals that are way too high. This stall is so tiny. It's like a little tiny, it's like the closet in my parents' house. I wanted to use it because I like small spaces. I could barely fit in this thing. My feet were sticking out from under the door. It was just so funny. Anyways, so somebody clip that, download that, put it in a clip. You can monetize it. Send it to Cinema Arts Fairfax. Say, hey, take that urinal, the partition out from the wall behind the urinals, put it between them so you cannot see the person next to you. We're not worried about people seeing, we don't need it sealed off like a stall, like a toilet stall. Yeah, I'm saving money. It's going slow. Warren's tax is wealth tax is a great idea. 2% on over 50 million, 3% over $1 billion. I don't understand exactly what's the difference in a wealth tax. Like just a tax on your bank accounts? I don't get what that means. I've already ranted about the old man in the naked. I really pissed me off because I think the same guy again standing at the sink. After I told him the other week, it weirded me out for him to be naked next to me, and he just pretended like it was a joke and said, well, just picture me fully clothed. I wanted to yell at him and be like, no, I don't have to. Actually, you don't have to be naked here unless you want to force yourself on me. That's what sex criminals do, is they force themselves on people. I was really mad when I said that to him, by the way. I didn't say all that. I just said, I feel weird with you being naked next to me. I was mad enough saying that. I can't not say it, I can't say it and not sound like I'm furious. So I also don't want to be just like sounding like I'm, but it really pissed me off. Like, how selfish then, I'm pretty sure it was him. He walked naked, and I think it was him. I was in the toilet stall. So I was taking a dump. I see this old man's feet. No shoes on. Walk over to the stall next to me and sit down and take a dump. What the hell is wrong with him? You should not walk up to the sink naked. He didn't need to be there naked. I want to say, hey, like, I don't consent to you being naked around here, so you're forcing yourself on me, aren't you? You want to test boundaries and see how far, like, who you can be naked around. Because you don't need to be naked at the sink. You can get dressed. Unfortunately, I can't say it as calmly. Like, I get so mad. Like, I was mad enough when I said it to him before, and I think he sensed that. But anyways, yeah, it really bothersome. And he's only there on certain days. Oh, tax on your assets? I get it. Goodness, I've had my car engine running for the last 40 minutes. Or really not the whole time. Sorry. I'm trying to scroll through the comments, but they keep flickering on and off the screen. Yeah, anyways, the guy pissed me the hell off. Really, and then to see him a second time, it's like, wow, this guy just wants to make people, like, feel imposed upon. Because he doesn't care about their well-being. I wanted to say, like, I've had a guy expose himself to me before. And now you're doing the same thing because I don't want you to do that. I've told you that. And it's true. Guy exposed himself to me before. Oh, that's funny. Katie cooks and crafts. You know the Cinema Arts Theater. So you're saying the Cinema Arts stall in the ladies' room are tiny too? You have to straddle the toilet to close the door? Oh, my goodness. That's funny. Not all the stalls in the men's room are small. Several of them are large. But I went in there, I was like, I want to use that tiny one. That looks like a fucking, like, tiny little storage closet. If you have 50 million, your 51st million gets taxed at 2%. I see. Stop joking about that Achilles X. That's not funny. Okay, yeah, Howard Schultz is even more pathetic than I realized. I mean, not more pathetic. It just it adds more to his pathetic nature. That he's like, he wants extremism that we've had in this country for centuries, against poor people, against black people, against immigrants, against women. But he just wants a tone of civility behind it, because Trump talks like, can you imagine, by the way, Obama, a black Democrat, saying anything on any given day as dumb as what Trump said, and conservatives not having a meltdown and going hysterical and screaming how he hates the country. Mark Levin was defending Trump today. By the way, he's screaming at people. He's like, they're trying to undermine the president. Like he's working for the North Korean dictator or something. And then he said MSNBC is loved by North Korean generals. I don't have any great defense for MSNBC. A lot of them are terrible. And for their supposed liberalism, they are actually very deferential to conservatives, and they have a lot of former generals on the show, a lot of people who are involved in weapons making, all kinds of like horrible stuff, and they have them on as the civilized, the experts. John Brennan, people they act like just because they can speak like a halfway decent person, that therefore we should respect them, even though they've been involved in horrible things. But Mark Levin was screaming about them, about how they're trying to undermine the president, and he's like, shut up, you jerk. He literally yells like that at the clip. I was listening to him on the radio tonight. He was like, shut up, you jerk. He's so angry at so little to be angry about in regards to criticizing Trump, because he was saying that Trump was just questioning the intelligence community's findings. Now, I also have no great love for the intelligence community. They're involved in a lot of horrible things. But it's just so funny to see Trump, hating on them. And you know damn well, if a black Democrat like Obama had said the same thing Trump did, conservatives would be hating him. They would be saying that Obama hates America. You know, I know that. They did say that about him for the most modest criticisms of American policy. For going, I believe, to Japan, in regards to the Hiroshima bombing, even though he didn't apologize for it. They said he hated America for his very modest criticisms that relations between the police and black communities are strained and bad. He didn't even get be really clear about how brutal the policing is. He did make some points regarding it. For that, these racist a-holes like Eric Harley and Gary McNamara, who are like, black people aren't real. What are you talking about? So to them, police brutality, police killings of unarmed black people just doesn't happen. It's not real. Doesn't exist. Over-policing them, pulling them over without cause, stopping them on the street, stop and frisk, arresting them when they wouldn't arrest white people for the same thing, and they don't arrest them for the same crimes that are committed at similar rates, but they disproportionately arrest black people, so they arrest them way more. Then their bail bonds are set higher. They're not given adequate defenses. They're not given the same humanity and deference that white people are. And these guys are just like, no, black people aren't real. Ben Shapiro was going on like that tonight, too, saying how it's ridiculous to compare Jackie Robinson's stance on not wanting to stand for the national anthem to Colin Kaepernick's. First of all, Ben Shapiro would have fucking hated Jackie Robinson even back in Jackie Robinson's day for doing that, because he would have said, you still got to do it anyways. You still got to stand up, even if you can't, sit in the same section of a restaurant or sit in the same restaurant as a white person, even if you can't get halfway as good as an education as a white person, even if you can't drink at the same drinking fountain. He would not have given a damn. He only says it now because it sounds really nice. You can mythologize black people who, worked for civil rights and reframe them as, well, they got civil rights, and civil rights battles were over, and now Colin Kaepernick is just a whiny anti-American, overprivileged football player because he took a knee for police brutality against black people. And then he went on to explain why actually the deaths of Michael Brown and what's his name now? What's his name? The kid that Zimmerman killed, Trayvon Martin. Why actually they both should have been killed. That's what he talked about. He's like, what he talked about the justifications for killing them. To him, killing black people, young black men, kids, just doesn't mean anything. And of course, he doesn't care about the other examples where we have on video police shooting unarmed black men. The one they shot in his grandmother's backyard. Philando Castile, Eric Garner. Just don't give a damn. What was I even talking about? I forget what the whole point is. Eric Schultz? Yeah, Native Americans too. Absolutely. Yeah, these guys don't give a damn about dead black people. They don't give a damn. It's amazing just how little they care. And I understand their mentality. Because I used to have that mentality when I was a conservative, which is just look at the broad statistics about, black incomes and black neighborhoods and stuff and say, well, overall it's improved, so who cares about the... So obviously that means if you're stopped by the police, it's your own fault. Or if you don't get a good education, it's your fault. They never want to talk about the widespread issues of discrimination, of dehumanization of black people. I've said it so many times in these videos before. I don't feel like repeating it again right now. But it's so pathetic. And how could they enjoy that and act like somebody just farted in their face when like black people? What? Who farted? What was that? What's that word you said? A black person? And that's what all these guys sound like too. They all these fucking like shrieking sounds they make. Yeah, Levin is fucking is a moron. I don't like making fun of the word triggered, but yeah, he's a moron. Right? They sprayed people at Standing Rock. They surveilled them. They were brutalizing them. They were trying to cut them off from getting proper supplies. They were doing all kinds of intimidation tactics there, when we shouldn't even be building oil pipelines. We've got to, like, the planet's not going to sustain human life for very long if we don't stop burning oil. No kidding. People lost limbs, rat poison. Yeah, shameful. And it happens a lot, not just Standing Rock. And you see it with Native Americans in other parts of the country too. They're not respected, where reservations are basically treated like the government runs them like the government's a slumlord, where they don't have same legal protections that people have. Assaults on women there aren't prosecuted. So people, like, it's just their existence is not... Republicans don't give a shit, and a lot of Democrats don't either. Elizabeth Warren hasn't been working with them despite her claiming Native American ancestry. What the hell was the point of that? She's not working with them to try and give them legal protections. Wow, they found billions of cubic feet of rat poison killing cattle too. I know they were doing all kind. I didn't hear about that. I don't think. Maybe I don't know. I don't remember. But I heard all kinds of dirty things they were doing. As far as spying on them, trying to locking up journalists, assaulting journalists. Just terrible. And for what? Just so some rich people can make money. That's it. The rest of us don't benefit. There's no great cause. It's not for the public good or anything. It's just to keep rich people rich, keep money lubricated and going back and forth between a small number of rich people who are given humanity. You saw how conservatives reacted to Roger Stone getting arrested with a SWAT team, SWAT-style arrest. They did that because he's on video with a bunch of AK-47s in his house bragging about all the weapons he has. They did that shit to a friend of mine because of like some alimony payment or something that wasn't even due yet. And it was all a mistake. Apparently it was a mistake of communication. They were trying to train in SWAT style raids on my friend, who like owed his ex-wife, you know, had some agreement to pay his ex-wife something, but it wasn't due for a while. And so they were training to do SWAT style raids, but apparently the captain or whatever said, but when it times to actually get to the door, just do it like a normal serving, you know, a warrant or whatever, knock on the door. Well, these guys just took it all the way. We're trying to like break the door down. My friend was calling 911 and said, you know, these people are trying to break in. I don't know who they are. And apparently, I didn't hear the recording, but he said, he yelled, like, who are you? Are you the police? And apparently they yelled, fuck the police. And it's hurt. You can hear it on the 911 tape, which the police tried to erase. So they do that shit all the time. You know they do that. They do that on suspicion. Like, I was thinking about this. They did this on Dallas SWAT to like, and even back then, it was unsettling me. Back when I was much more favorable towards the police, I'm like, why are they, like, I was very excited about the idea of a cop show. You know, I loved it back then, but I'm like, why are they making SWAT raids on houses with like prostitution and gambling and drugs? Like, what are you expecting a threat from like a massage parlor that has prostitution there? They're usually just, you know, terrorizing people who are just trying to make a living and, you know, and doing like adult activities, basically. What the hell's the point of the SWAT tank and all that stuff, the armored vehicles, the guys with M16s? What the fuck is the point of all? But when Roger Stone, a rich white man who's been connected to a lot of Republicans, get arrested, conservatives are like, oh my goodness, the police are out of control. Get rid of prisons. We need to stop overzealous prosecutions. The FBI's out of control. How fucking confused are they? They've never heard of black people before. They've never heard of Hispanic people before. Never heard of Native Americans. Never heard of poor people. They did. That's how you literally know it's not about like disagreements in policy. They literally do not believe in the humanity of non-whites. Their experiences are invalid to them. Here's the thing. When I was younger, it was easier for me to maintain those views and believe that. As I got into my 20s and then into my 30s, I just had to let go of so much of that because I started realizing that was not correct and how I ignored a lot of people's experiences that were totally valid. So I had to let go of that. But I'm like, how can these adults keep holding on to this hate over and over? How can they, like, it's like they view themselves as so low in order to ignore other people's humanity. They have to not, like, they must view a part of themselves as so terrible if they don't even care about another person. So the police, I just don't get, it's like this, it just totally does not match up with reality, the way they talk about Roger Stone. And here's the thing about all that. I don't even necessarily know if Roger Stone should have been arrested or did anything illegal or should have been counted as illegal. However, what I do believe is that rich, powerful people, well-connected, the elites, should have to abide by the same legal system and the same police system that they support for the poorest and most vulnerable people. So you don't like it? Too bad. I don't believe he or Paul Manafort or Michael Flynn should be exempt from the system that they absolutely believe in and love and revere. By the way, people are pointing out when after Trump said that Roger Stone was handed too rough and the FBI shouldn't have, you know, raided his house the way he did. He's on video saying to police, by the way, when you take people, you know, suspects, put them in the car, you know how you put your hand on their head and gently lower them in the car? He's like, don't be so nice to them. Be a little rough, which is horrible. It's going to break trust in communities. It's going to empower the worst police officers. But he said, be a little rough with them. You don't have to be nice to them. But now when it's a rich white guy who worked with him, he doesn't see, there's no principle behind it. It's all about cruelty and vanity, and some people just like being the bad guy. Yep, elites are not affected by minorities, but minorities are absolutely affected by elites. Yeah, FBI does so much worse on a regular basis. Absolutely do. Absolutely heinous, horrible behavior. You can look at so much of what they've done. Tortured people. Killed them. It's just awful. Anyways, guys. Okay. It's 1:40 in the morning. I was trying to go to bed earlier, but I had so much energy I knew I wouldn't be able to sleep. Got some good stuff done today. I'm glad I started looking for some jobs. Oh, now we got more people in here. I don't know if I'll leave just yet. But looking for jobs that finally I realized, like, oh, these would be good jobs. I know I would like these. I'd be happy to have these. I'm looking at some other stuff too, possibly that'll help me out. So, that was a nice little break. And I wanted to get up early, get my laptop, and apply to some of those jobs. But I don't know if I'll be able to. I'm not going to wake up that early. But maybe in the afternoon I don't know. I want to get the laptop, apply to a few things. Some stuff I can just do on my phone, but some of them I'm going to have to, even though I'm really committed to not sending my resume anywhere. Some of these jobs I'm like, okay, I'll send my resume. Some of them, even not paying much, would pay more than I've ever made in my life. And some of them might be pretty cool. Meet a lot of people I'd be interested in meeting. Good experience. Learn a lot. So, anyways, that's finally, I just realized like that's something I can look forward to. And stagehand jobs or I don't know, if I have more money, then I could afford to volunteer in theater, although I'd be very busy. Because a lot of TV production jobs, they want you on call all the time. Because they just have stuff that needs to happen all the time. Anyways, I'm going to get going. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm going to try and watch If Beale Street Could Talk soon. That seems really cool, and I love Barry Jenkins after I've seen Moonlight. Anyways, subscribe for more videos. Tell your friends. Like the video. Leave a comment even after it's done. And leave comments on other videos. Share them with friends. Tweet them out. Share